All right, ladies and gentlemen, can I get your attention? Thank you very much for coming. My name is Adam Riback. I am the Executive Director of the New York State Marine Education Association. Just want to give a special thanks to Marty Maher, Brooklyn Parks Commissioner. Aside from the unveiling we're about to do, if it wasn't for Marty Maher, these events that we do religiously would not take place. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Marty, and he's going to take it from here.
Yay, Marty.
Thank you so much. Let's give it up for Adam. He's done an amazing job with this event. So I can't tell you how happy I am to be here. You know, there's 877 parks in Brooklyn, but I think everybody in Brooklyn knows that Kaiser Park is the best one. Yeah. And right? Am I right? Yeah. So there's a lot of things we deal with at Kaiser Park. We deal with tides, we deal with wind, but another force of nature was Gene Ritter. He was an amazing, amazing person that did so much for the New York City marine environment. And there used to be something called It's My Park Day, and we did that in all 877 parks in Brooklyn, and they did it in those suburb parks in Manhattan and the other suburbs. Anyway, Gene said, yeah, that's not good enough. We're going to do It's My Estuary Day. And you can't say no to Gene. And so he instituted this great event that's a combination beach environmental cleanup and celebration of environmental education throughout the area. And Gene did so many things. He was a certified diver. He would go down and he would bring up artifacts and explain it to kids. He would go down, he would bring up wildlife and explain it to kids. And just an amazing force of nature. And sadly, Gene passed away some time ago, and we did a modest bench thing, but that wasn't enough. And so this entire promenade along the walkway here is going to be named Gene Ritter Way in just a few minutes. Wow. That's definitely worthy of applause. So everything in the city is bureaucratic, and let me tell you something. Naming something for anyone is a very difficult and bureaucratic thing to do, and the city doesn't take it lightly. So some time ago, we got an endorsement from Eddie Mark and the community board, and we got an endorsement from the borough president, and we got an endorsement from the Parks Department. I endorsed it, of course, but it has to go through the process. And it wouldn't have gone through that process quickly. I made one phone call to Justin Brannan, our council member, and like the next day it got approved. So I want to give a big shout out for Justin Brannan. You're very lucky to have him as your council member. He's going to speak in just a minute. You're also lucky to have an amazing, amazing assembly member for this area who I've known a long time, Assembly Member Alec Brook-Krasny, who's here, and you'll hear from him a little bit. But it takes a village. I just want to thank a few people. We have with us Barbara Felder, who's representing Senator Jessica Scarcella-Spanton. Where's Barbara? She's here. Barbara's allowed to do a wave. Everybody give Barbara a wave. Okay. We have a great relationship with Community Board 13. I know Joanne Weiss, I saw earlier. There she is. Lucy couldn't make it today. But our manager, who I've been working with a long, long time, Eddie Mark. Eddie Mark has... On my desk, there's a red phone that says Eddie Mark, and when it's flashing, it's like the bat signal. So I would say, not every week, but every other week, did you get Gene Ritter Way approved? Did you get Gene Ritter Way approved? I'm like, Eddie, we're working on it. We're working on it. But like I said before, one call to Alec, to Justin Brannan, and it got done. Of course, I want to thank Carly Chambly. She's our Partnerships for Parks person. And I have to say, the legacy that Gene started would not have continued except for the work of Adam Riback and the City Park Foundation of Partnerships for Parks. Adam has been stalwart. I worked with Adam's nephew in the Boy Scouts a million years ago, but Adam has been great about organizing this event, also a certified diver, and does so much for the environmental, coastal environment of New York City. So thank you, Adam, for all you do. And of course, we're honored to have Beth Ritter here, Gene's widow, and the entire Ritter family. We have brothers here, we have relatives here. You honor us by your presence. This is so important to us. And when we do the unveiling, we want the immediate family to come up as well for the unveiling. So you've heard enough from me. I don't want to blather on, but you're so lucky to have some elected officials. So the first one up is our State Assembly Member, Alec Brook-Krasny, who I'd like to say a few words.
Thank you so very much. Good morning, everyone. This is just a beautiful day, and So many things. I'm very grateful to Adam Riback. Thank you very much. Спасибо. And I just, you know, I've been doing some work, just a little bit, and I've been saying to the guys who's been cleaning this Coney Island Creek, just be careful because we can find some kind of a Loch Ness creature here in this Coney Island Creek. It's possible. So cleaning is very important. So we're just here. I'm very grateful to Parks Department, to Marty, to Justin, to the community board, to everyone, because we're doing something just very important here today. And I'm very, very grateful to Ritter's family, of course. Gene was a wonderful guy doing so many exciting things. Some of them are very close to my own heart. And I just found out from John Weiss and Barbara Santonas that he was advocating for the bridge from here to there. Well, this is...
Your checks payable to NYC Parks. We'll work that out.
Well, at least it makes two of us advocating for that bridge, two of us in Brooklyn, at least. I want to thank you all for coming. This is just a wonderful day for Brooklyn, for Kaiser Park, and I thank you again. And big thank you goes to my colleagues, to Jessica Scarcella-Spanton, and just thank you for being here. It's a wonderful day, and the weather is cooperating big time today. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Assembly Member. You've done so much to support parks. The next person has also done so much to support parks in a huge district that goes from Bay Ridge to Coney Island. And he's an amazing man, and he has funded over $50 million of projects. And like I said, this project couldn't have gotten pushed through without him. So let me introduce Justin Brannan.
Thank you, Marty. Let's give it up for Marty Maher, everybody. Thank you. I'm Councilman Justin Brannan. You know, it's interesting to me, I think, in a city as big as New York City, that we're really a city of neighborhoods. And there's so much. I know before I got involved in local politics, I didn't understand all that goes on the sort of subcutaneous levels in a community. And people that really make things happen behind the scenes, because the city can't do it all on its own. So we rely on this partnership with well-meaning people and people in their neighborhoods that wake up and just care about their neighborhood, care about their environment. And I think it's important to note that, you know, this is a man who, you know, when you think big picture about environmental causes, you know, the saying, think global, act local, talking about what are you doing in your own backyard to make your world just a little bit better, and how that you're doing this stuff just out of the kindness of your own heart. So I think it's important today that we're recognizing this man, because it reminds people that are the next generation of people that are doing good things, that it's appreciated and that it's going to be remembered by the city, and that it's when you step up and you give back to your community, that it's appreciated and respected. And I think that it's a really deserved day and a well-meaning day here for future generations, most especially. So to the Ritter family, congratulations, and I'm very, very honored to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another amazing supporter of this community, again, I've been working with him a long time, is our district manager for Community Board 13, Eddie Mark. Come on up, Eddie.
Eddie.
Thank you, Marty. As you know, Gene had a big part of him in Coney Island. He has been working in the creek, trying to clean it, going up and down the, up and down the estuary, and making it happen. Because back then, he did have It's My Park Day change into It's My Estuary Day. I don't know if anyone knows this, but on 2012, we actually had a cleanup 1 week before Superstorm Sandy, and it was a great time to have it, but at the same time, devastation came to the neighborhood. But the community board recognizes Gene Ritter for what he has done for us. And when the opportunity came from Beth saying, can we do something for Gene? And she said, let's do it, you know, because something like this, he can't be forgotten. For something like this, I think all of us has a piece of him in our hearts, and knowing what he has done is what only make him memorialize him in Kaiser Park. So thank you very much, and we appreciate all you've done for us.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you, Beth.
As I said, Gene was a stalwart for environmental education in New York City and in New York State. Another group that does amazing, amazing work on protecting our environment is the New York State Marine Education Association, and I'm happy to have our Nassau County Director, Lou Siegel, here to say a few words.
It's always dangerous to give a teacher a microphone and tell them they're going to talk. I did an hour lesson plan, but he told me he's getting the hook. And when you're dealing with the marine environment, it's a boat hook. It has a point on it. It's not a good idea. At any rate, the reason I'm here is because, yes, I'm active in the New York State Marine Education Association, but I was Gene's high school teacher in 1970, okay? So watch this. Just by a show of hands, how many of you went to John Dewey High School in 1970? 1970. 1, 2, 3. Who else? There's one other person. He's not here. Ed Walensky is back there somewhere. Former principal from Rachel Carson High School. So at any rate, I'm not going to do all of this, but I do want to emphasize what was just emphasized. Gene was a local boy. He was a Coney Island boy. He started out fishing on the Coney Island, on the Steeplechase Pier. He saw a place to do something, so he went out and raised money and got a 20-foot seine net and caught spearing and sold spearing to the fishermen on the Coney Island Pier with his brother Vinny. And then he went on at 14 years old. When he was in high school, he became a certified scuba diver. And many times he and Steve Storch, who's here, and Joseph Koppelman and a couple other people would leave school early and head down to the Coney Island beach and look for lobsters, which were actually present at Coney Island at the time, and also for tropical fish that come up here and still come up here now. But then he actually left Coney Island for a while, and he went to Maine. And up in Maine, he was a lobster fisherman, and he also dove for sea urchins. Okay, so this is from a resume that he did up at one point or another, okay? But then he came back here and he did what divers typically do to make money, is they scrape bottoms of boats, they put zincs on the bottom of boats, they put in moorings and did things like that. But then he joined the union, and he was a member of the Dock Builders Union for many years. And the key word is builders. Builders. You see this thing over here? There's a dock builder, or a bunch of them, that built this, okay? And that's what Gene did. Gene was a dock builder, but he worked in Yankee Stadium. He worked on the East River Drive. He worked on the Cross Bay Bridge. He worked on the Robert Moses Bridge out on Long Island. Anywhere you go in New York, he worked for Gateway in 1970s. Gateway NRA was set up, and he put in pilings along the Belt Parkway. And one of the jobs that he mentions is that he actually worked here in the creek, putting in pilings here in the creek. So they put in steel piling, steel sheeting, and then dredged out behind it and took out all the polluted material and replaced it with clean fill. So everything that you come across in New York City, many of them, is built by dock builders and workers, and Gene was one of those workers. But while he was doing it, he realized that there was something out there. There was a history out there. He saw the history of New York and the history of New York City under the water surface. And he started collecting different types of material, bottles, and the usual thing that you find on wrecks that a lot of commercial divers and recreational divers do. But he found these things, and he decided, he and Beth and Lenny Spurrigan and a couple other people set up a group where they started doing educational programs, and they would go out on a day like today and do tabling, and they would go to the New York State Marine Education Association and educate the teachers on what was under the water that they may have talked about in class, but they really didn't know anything about. And one of the best programs they had was Classroom on the Pier. And what would happen is New York City school children would come out on Coney Island Pier, and there would be Gene and Lenny and a couple other people setting up on the pier, and the kids would walk out there, and they would see a guy get dressed and put on a wetsuit or a dry suit, put on a hard hat, and they would go crazy for it. And then they would take a long ladder, and we put a ladder down on the side of the pier, and the diver would go down with a hard hat. What's it called? Mark 5? Mark 5 hat. There you go. And we'd go down to the bottom with a microphone and a camera. And the kids would say, go to the left, go to the right. Oh, look at that sea anemone over there. Look at, just like we did here, except there was a live diver down on the bottom. And the kids were able to tell the diver what to do. Oh, and of course we had TVs or a projector set up underneath a tent, very similar to this. And they would love it. It was wonderful. And because it was a two-way street, it was a really, really effective way of doing it. Then the divers would come up, and all the kids would want to help dress him. It is interesting stuff. They want to hear this.
It's very interesting.
They want to hear this.
The power.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm afraid I'm getting the boot here. But the point is, he was a wonderful, passionate guy. Was he my best student in marine biology? I don't know. But he was really, really a fantastic guy. He brought in all sorts of tropicals for the fish tanks at John Dewey High School, which is still up and running and doing fantastic. Where's the people from Dewey? Okay. And it's really wonderful that we're dedicating this way to Gene Ritter, and here now back to the boss.
Thank you very much. Let's give it up for Lou. Seriously, Lou, thank you for all the environmental education that you foster in New York State and in New York Harbor. It's really very important to us. Give it up for Lou, please. So we picked this location because it's sort of midway in between what will be called Gene Ritter Way. It's in view of the yellow submarine, the Quester. It's right over the estuary.
Center is being built, right?
Right. You make your checks to NYC Parks. So the most important person that's here right now is Gene Ritter's wife. I'd like to ask Beth to come up. And Beth's going to speak. We're going to do the unveiling, but I have a few presentations after that. So Beth, come on up. He's going to wire you up.
Some things that are a long time coming are even more special when they finally arrive. Today is a perfect example of this, the renaming of this promenade walkway for Gene Ritter. As we know, Gene was a great advocate for both the preservation and improvement of this important estuary and surrounding environment, and teaching young people and adults why this is so important. Now Gene's dedication, his hard work, will be remembered more so. I am so grateful to the people who have allowed us to see this wonderful day. Marty Maher, Brooklyn Commissioner of the Parks Department, Larry Major, Regional Manager for Parks, Community Board 13, your unanimous vote. Thank you, Barbara Santonis and Eddie Mark especially. Parks Committee of Community Board 13, the City Council, and all who were involved in making this happen. Gene's family and I thank all of you so much. I'll bet Gene is watching right now, commending the hard work of the students' beach cleanup on this It's My Estuary Day. He's also, I would think, pleased to see this event, and he would thank the New York State Marine Education Association for their continued support of Estuary Day 5.5 years after his time as executive director. Adam Riback, thanks for always keeping Gene's memory alive with the large photos. Charlie Denson, even though you couldn't make it today, you are very much here in spirit. Lou Siegel, Gene's marine biology teacher. You're the main reason, the main influence who inspired Gene to love the water, the coast, this estuary, and all the wildlife it holds. Your teaching has had a wonderful, lasting impact. Thank you all for being here today.
Beth, you get to keep one of the signs. Okay. And we have flowers for you. Hold that. Okay. And when Gene first passed, we dedicated a bench you can take a look at. But I had this made up. It says, "We cherish the memory of Gene Ritter, and his spirit still inspires the Coney Island community." That's also for you. Okay, and then we have smaller signs to give to the family. So let's hold this for now. Get some pictures of this.
Wow.
Okay, and you could pass that to the family.
Wow.
Wow.
That's just awesome.
Wow. Thank you so much.
And then there. And now you guys can turn around and look.
What are the kids up to?